Welcome, this is Carrie Schell from On Point Quilter. This week we're going to start a new quilt, and in lesson 1 we're going to talk about drafting 2 blocks using Easy Draw within Electric Quilt. And so because we're going to draft these images, I'm going to actually suggest that we start by saving the image and then we can go ahead and trace it. So once I select the image, I'm going to save the image as, and I'm going to navigate to my EQ folder. And so I'll go into Documents, scroll down to my EQ7, and then in the Images tab, I'm going to call the first one Double Hearts. And for the second one, I'm going to save that image as single heart 2. Okay, now I can go ahead and go to Electric Quilt. I've opened a file. Actually, I've created a new file and I'm calling it Heart Quilt for 2016. And I'm going to start by going to the Work on Block tab. And I'm going to do a block, new block. I'm going to do an Easy Draw block, which I was already there, but I just like to get in the habit of doing that. Then I'm going to do a block, import image for tracing. And I'm sorted by date here, so I'm going to start with the double hearts, and I'm going to open that. And I will do OK, click on that, and it fills the workspace nicely. I might make it just a little bit lighter so I can actually see my work. And I'm going to go to the Easy Draw tab. So the first thing I have to figure out is, do I have a good grid for working this? Now I am noticing that all of my snap points are lining up nicely, but I'm wondering if I really need that many. So maybe the first thing is to figure out what would be a good size to draft this block, and that would be to find the number of equal divisions. So if I'm looking at these blocks and half blocks going across, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is twice as big, so that'd be 5, 6. So a nice size for this block would either be 6 by 6 or 12 by 12. I guess, you could also make it larger, but I'm going to go ahead and start with a 6 by 6 from a drafting perspective. And I can look at it, and if I change my graph paper cells to 6 by 6 and turn it on, you can see that the divisions are working out very nicely. And I'm going to go ahead and I do have this one down here, so I'm going to actually, which means I can't do 6 by 6 for the snap points, but I can use 12 by 12. And so even that quarter block, notice that there are dots or lines on everything, which means the snapping is going to work nicely. Now in the snap options, I'm going to want to snap to grid points on Worktable. I'm going to want to turn off all of the other options that are out there. So now I can pick up my line tool, and I can basically trace each of the patches here. And I can do some long lines. And remember that when you are in Easy Draw, it actually is very much like working with graph paper and pencil. And I'm just going to go back to the tracing image and make it even lighter, just so I can see, no, I'm missing a line there. Everything else looks like it is matching up very nicely. So, oh, no, missed that line there as well. So I'm going to go to the Color tab. Oh, I can actually see another problem. When I piece this, I'm probably going to use squares for the corner. So I'm going to put that in, so I've got that as well. Not doing well today here. And again, a lot of it is what technique you want to use for piecing it. But I pretty much wanted to use half square triangles for everything here, or else actual squares, to make it really simple to piece. And now if I just find looking at it on the color tab is usually very helpful for me to sort of figure out what I'm doing. Okay, now that I'm on the coloring tab, I'm going to go ahead and since I don't know what fabrics I want to use yet, actually I'm hoping I can get some of you to weigh in and give me some suggestions on that. I'm just going to go ahead and find a pink. And color, and this is pretty basic. So if I can go back to my image to take a look, and I've got a paler pink for the other ones. And I'm just doing every other piece in the heart. And again, they're sort of overlaying each other. And so then I've got a couple of different reds here. So I'll use the dark red for that, and a lighter red for the other. And for everything else, I just need to find a background, and I'm as I mentioned in my post, I'm sort of gravitating to a gray of some sort. There have just been some really great gray fabrics that have come out. So I'm going to take the gray and I'm going to use the spray can tool, and it will fill in the rest of the spaces. So once I get something that I would like to work with, I'm going to go ahead and add that to the sketchbook. And now I'm going to work on the next image. So I'm going to do a block, new block, easy draw block. I'm going to do an import image for tracing, and I'm going to go ahead and save this image. It's actually going to save with the photos, but if I decide that I want to use it again, it's there. I'm going to select open, and my image is here. Now when I look at this one, and I'm counting the grids, notice it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's probably best done as a block that's 4 by 4 or 8 by 8. I'm just going to change this to 4 by 4. I could actually change my snaps to 4 by 4 and my graph paper to 4 by 4 as well. And now notice that everything is lining up with the lines on the image. So I can use the line tool, and actually, you know what? I'm going to actually use the grid tool and change the columns to 4 and the rows to 4. And now I can drag the grid from the upper left corner to the lower right corner. And it is going to create all of my horizontal and vertical lines. So the only thing I need to do with the line tool now is do the half square triangles, or the diagonal lines. So I can just follow that along the outside of the heart, and I now have that one done. And so a light pink, a dark pink. I'm just going to use the light pink that I've got out there, and the dark pink. And notice that my fabrics I'm picking up are already in the most recently used fabrics and colors. The nice thing on doing that is that I can, if I reuse them, I know I'm getting exactly the same fabrics. And so I also did the spray can and did the grays again. So I will add that to the sketchbook. Thanks so much for watching. For additional videos and techniques, please sign up for my weekly newsletter at www.onpointquilter.com. Also, next week we will cover a setting for these blocks that will involve using custom set in Electric Quilt. I know that many of you have questions on this setting and that the video will be very useful for you.